Hi there, this is Tata, and welcome to a Wrestling Time Post Show. It is Monday, July 15, 2024, and tonight I'll be talking about Monday Night Raw. Alright, so Rhea Ripley made her return last week, and Rhea Ripley was all over tonight's show. She had multiple backstage segments tonight. So let's talk about that. So, tonight's Raw kicked off with her in the ring. She did a whole promo. And one of the things I like about this was you had Dominik come out with a black rose. He was trying to make up for last week, and they're definitely remaking the China Eddie Guerrero storyline from back in the day. And we all know, unfortunately, how that storyline turned out. They ended up breaking up. But basically, this whole segment, Rhea Ripley calls out Liv Morgan. She doesn't physically come out, but she shows up on the Titantron. And Rhea lays down the challenge. It's going to be Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam for the Women's World title. And, while Liv Morgan is on the Titantron, she rubs in Rhea's face that she helped Dom beat his deadbeat dad, which is something that Rhea Ripley could never do. And another thing that I like about this is that when she basically ends her promo, she says, "Watch me." She whispers it into the camera and promises that she's going to live Morgan's career. And backstage, Rhea and Dom make their way to the Judgment Day locker room, and Dom had set up gifts for her, but she slams the door in his face and then throws that stuff at him. I mean, can you blame her? She's really pissed off at Dominik. Now it's a love triangle for Dom and Rhea and Liv. Yes, it is a love triangle. So, how do you guys think this is going to end? I feel like there's a couple ways. They're either going to recreate I know I mentioned this before, they could recreate the Christian Jericho Trish angle where Trish betrayed Chris Jericho and then she made out with Christian on the ramp. But I feel like that's kind of the obvious route. What if they go with a less obvious route? And maybe they have Rhea be the one to end things with Dominik. I think that would make much more sense. I mean, she was really pissed at him. Now, this is only the opening segment. Later on, let me see. I think Dom is going to cost Rhea the title at SummerSlam. I could definitely see this happening. And again, they probably recreate that Christian Trish segment on the ramp. Now, the question is, has Dominik been helping Liv Morgan this entire time? Or has it been all on pure accident, as Dom's claimed to have that? So in the first Judgment Day segment, again, Rhea was all over this show. Rhea basically, tells Priest that he appreciates him for handling everything. And we learned that Dom had never attempted to reach Rhea Ripley. So you just remember, Dom has been telling Damian Priest this entire time that he's been talking to Rhea, but apparently that hasn't been the case. I do think that Dom was 0-4 tonight. Yeah, he was. I do think that Dom actually liked Liv chasing after him, because if he didn't, he would have put his foot down and would have told her straight to her face that he doesn't want anything. But he just kept he was just saying no to leave him alone, but he really wasn't doing anything to really stop Liv from going after him. Now, Rhea tells Dom, what about the last 3 months, or was he too busy playing with his girlfriend? So, how do you guys think this is going to end? Are they going to go the Trish Christian angle? Or is Rhea going to, be the one to break up with Dom? What do you guys think? I don't know. I just feel I could see them doing the Christian Trish angle, but I just feel like that'd be the obvious route. So, we also have a backstage segment with Damian Priest and Dominik. Even though Rhea wasn't a part of this segment, she was still mentioned in the segment. This sets up the main event because, Jey Uso interrupts Damian and Dom and basically says if Rhea's single, and Damian Priest, it seems like Damian Priest kind of tricked Dom here into getting a match with Jey Uso. So that sets up, actually, that doesn't set up the main event. That sets up a match between them, my bad. And the last segment that featured her, well, one of the last segments that featured her was another Judgment Day segment where Finn Balor kind of tells Rhea, like, you know, Liv did help them win the tag titles. And Rhea here confronts Dom about asking her about picking a fight with Jey Uso. And she gets mad that Dom says that she's still his mom and she belongs to him. So again, like, Rhea was just all over this show. And then at the end, I'll talk more about the match when I get to it, but at the end of Jey Uso versus Dominik, like, Rhea hands him a flower and says, a black rose, and says he's hers, and kind of like smiles. So I wonder if she's just leading him into a false sense of security here. And again, maybe she might betray him, maybe not. Maybe he is going to be the one to betray her. You know, hell hath no fury like a woman's scorn. All right. Rinse and repeat from last week. Let me see. Okay, so now let's go back to the beginning. Oh, we also got to talk about the Eric Rowan interview. So we got another VHS tape. And this time around, it's Eric Rowan getting interviewed, not Bo Dallas. And it's like, I thought this was such an interesting segment because, like, Eric Rowan, man, all the feels in this segment, he talks about how he used to have a family and they were unstoppable and inseparable. And that they always had each other's back, and one day the whole world changed. He says he lost a brother, the person who believed in him more than anyone else. That, I believe he's talking about Brody Lee, because Brody Lee did pass away first. And then it said, just when he thought he had everything going on, his other brother was gone too. So I think that right there he's referring to Bray Wyatt. So it's just like, you saw the emotion in Eric Rowan's face. Like, oh my God, that heartbreak. I felt for him. I was like, oh. And one of the things I like about this is he also brings out that white sheep mask that he used to wear in the Wyatt family. So I really dug this. I wonder, because we got like 2 weeks of Bo Dallas getting interviewed. I wonder if we'll get 2 weeks of Eric Rowan getting interviewed, or if we're just going to get somebody else getting interviewed. But I really did like this segment. It was a very interesting segment, very emotional. You could see it on Eric Rowan's face. Really like that promo from Eric Rowan. He took it the hardest, and he's the only member of the Wyatt family that is still alive. Yes, he's the only member of the original Wyatt family, because remember, the original iteration of the Wyatt family was Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, and Bray Wyatt. Braun Strowman joined later. So, of the original trio, Eric Rowan's the only one still alive, and I cannot imagine how he must be feeling, how he must have felt having to deal with the loss of Brody Lee, and then later the loss of Bray Wyatt. So, very emotional. I actually really like this. All right, so now let's get into the full show review. So after the Rhea Ripley segment, we had Sheamus versus Bronson Reed. I thought this was a pretty decent match. I mean, this is a meat match. Sheamus won, but what happened at the end was actually really interesting. You guys remember last week, it was Pete Dunne versus Bronson Reed, and Sheamus saved Pete Dunne. Now, Pete Dunne attacked Bronson Reed, but like, he also attacked Sheamus. This allowed Bronson Reed to hit the tsunami to Sheamus. Obviously, Pete Dunne is still mad at Sheamus because Sheamus pretty much, they both had the meats. Yeah. They pretty much, Sheamus caused the end of the Brawling Brutes. Like, he walked out, and I think he was out with an injury, but storyline wise, I think he walked out, and basically Brawling Brutes dissolved. So I am actually looking forward to a feud between Pete Dunne and Sheamus. I think it'll be a fantastic feud. Match sponsored by Arby's. LOL. Yeah. Okay. So then we get Sami Zayn and Ilja Dragunov. Well, before that, we get the first Judgment Day segment, which I already talked about. So now with this segment, This is basically Sami Zayn putting over Ilja Dragunov. He's talking about how he wants Ilja to bring out the best tonight. Now, Sami Zayn reveals that he's the one that asked for this match. This is the main event match, the IC title match, Sami Zayn versus Ilja Dragunov, which was a fantastic match, but I'll get more into that when we get there. We get a Gunther Vignette, and this one was actually a really good Vignette. I like how Gunther was basically like talking about his dominance in NXT and how he brought back prestige to the IC title. I really dug this. I thought this was a really well made Vignette. We get a quick Zelina Vega interview, and basically she's talking about how she's going to be first in line after the whole Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan stuff settles down. She gets interrupted by Sonya Deville, Shayna Baszler, and Zoey Stark, and basically this leads into Zelina Vega versus Sonya Deville. This match really didn't do anything for me. Yeah, Sonya Deville won, but it was a really short match. I guess that this was supposed to show Sonya Deville's new group dominance. I feel like Sonya really didn't need help against Zelina Vega. And I feel bad for Zelina Vega. She hasn't done much. She's always just been kind of there. She was a manager. She's wrestled and she's gotten title opportunities, but she's always just kind of there. She has yet to win a singles title. She won the tag titles with Carmella. But aside from that, that was really the last major thing that she did. And she won the Queen of the Ring tournament, the first Queen's Crown tournament. Why is Zelina still chasing after the title opportunity? Did nothing to earn it. That's true. She hasn't really done much. So we'll see. But I think Zelina is a good talent, but she's just not given much to do. So we get the first Chad Gable segment. And I really like the fact that Chad Gable is acting like he's freaking Inspector Gadget over here. And no, not Inspector Gadget, a Sherlock Holmes over here. And basically talking about how he figured out that Uncle Howdy is Bo Dallas. And he basically tells Adam Pearce like what actions he's going to do. Gable says he's going to call out Bo Dallas tonight. So I thought that was really interesting. Now, Damian Priest and Gunther come face to face. I actually really like this segment. Like, damn, Gunther ain't low. Like, Damian Priest is obviously the babyface going into this scenario, and Gunther's a heel. Like, Damian Priest talks of, like, you know, he mentioned his homelessness, and Gunther's saying that his parents gave him everything. Sherlock to Chad Gable, right? So he says that he recognizes Priest's hardship and that being on the street is a choice. He had parents who provided him with everything. I was like, dang, he went there, man. But this was a really good segment. And like Priest got in Gunther's face. But nothing happened because then Braun Strowman came out. But I really did like this. Oh, I wonder though, like, if they're going to pull the trigger on Gunther at SummerSlam or if they're going to wait to Bash in Berlin. Like, I really want to know what's going to happen. We get an Adam Pearce segment, and he's basically, he makes a match with Jey Uso and Dominik Mysterio for the night, and Braun Breaker pretty much is kind of like questioning him as to why Ilja is getting a match. So, obviously, we know what's going to happen here. He says Braun Breaker needs to leave, and he calls it for security. Like, yeah, I'm sure he left. We get Damian Priest versus Braun Strowman, and, like, Damian Priest was trying to, like, stick it to Strowman here. Like, he kept kicking him. He's showing his kickboxing background, that's for sure. I was really impressed by the fact that he did the South of Heaven chokeslam to Strowman. Now, it's after this, when Gunther comes back, he chops Priest, and like Priest gave him a right hand, and Gunther kind of just got out of the ring. So like, I wonder if like Damian Priest at some point during his match with Gunther is gonna hit the South of Heaven chokeslam on him. But Damian Priest is definitely getting chopped at SummerSlam. We get the second Chad Gable segment, and one of the things I like about this is Chad Gable tells Maxine that Uncle Howdy is Bo Dallas, and she's like, yeah, everybody knows. And they're talking about helping their friend and something like that, and Chad Gable thinks it's about him. But in reality, they're talking about Xavier Woods, who, since Kofi Kingston's out, they're going to help him take on the Final Testament. We get Kayden Carter and Kantana Chance versus Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark. This was an okay match. It was okay. It wasn't too bad, but it just felt like this was just an addition to what happened earlier in the night. So, and no surprise, Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark won. So Drew McIntyre and Adam Pearce meet in the ring. And basically, the whole point of this is Drew McIntyre wants to get unsuspended and wants to match with Punk at SummerSlam. And the only thing Adam Pearce asked of Drew McIntyre to do is to apologize to the two refs he attacked at Money in the Bank. This sets Drew off because Homie was like yelling, and he did not want to apologize to these two refs. Now, like, Drew McIntyre went off on Adam Pearce, and with every right he has, because like Adam Pearce really has no control over what happens on Raw. Look at Nick Aldis. He handles SmackDown, and I feel like Adam Pearce kind of loses control on Raw sometimes. But Drew McIntyre does bring up a good point, saying that Adam Pearce really hasn't done anything to CM Punk for like screwing him over. Now CM Punk is scheduled to show up next week, so I'm very curious to see what's going to happen there. But Seth Rollins comes out because Drew McIntyre just goes ballistic here. And he comes on to stop McIntyre. Now, you guys remember, Seth Rollins told CM Punk that he's going to make sure that he does not get his hands on Drew. But Drew was not happy that Rollins was trying to skip him over to get his hands on Punk. We get Jey Uso versus Dominik Mysterio. And like, Dom immediately went after Jey Uso in here, and he was like trying to teach Jey Uso a lesson about Rhea Ripley and saying that was his mommy. Jey Uso still won this match. Liv Morgan came out and like he basically drop kicked Dom onto Liv, and like she got on him. And then again, Rhea Ripley comes out and Liv flees. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Rhea Ripley was all over tonight's show. But I do think Dominik is going to play a factor into that SummerSlam match. Who is he going to side with? His mommy? Or Liv Morgan? So, we're going to Chad Gable promo. And he basically says that he solved the identity of Uncle Howdy, which we all know is Bo Dallas. Now, this reveals that Chad Gable has finally aligned himself with the Creeds. This is not the way I thought things were going to go. But as Bo Dallas comes out, he gets attacked by the Creeds. I kind of thought that Chad Gable was going to trick Alpha Academy and they were going to get attacked by the Creed brothers, but that's not how that happened. And the interesting part is that Ivy Niles was MIA from here, so I wonder if she's gonna turn right away or if it's gonna be like a slow burn. Don Polly causes Liv to win by accident, getting him in even more trouble with Mommy. I could see that happening. Now, as you're beating down Bo Dallas, like he just starts laughing uncontrollably like a maniac here. And the lights go out, and the rest of Wyatt Six comes out, and like Chad Gable and the Creed brothers are just standing there, like, "When the hell did you get out of the ring?" So I thought this image was very reminiscent of the Wyatt family, like the original Wyatt family, like when Bray Wyatt was the Eater of the Worlds. I thought that this is what that reminded me of. So I thought that was a really cool really cool image. But so it seems like the first feud with the Wyatt Six is going to be the Wyatt Six versus Chad Gable and the Creeds, and it makes sense. You just need to throw Ivy Nile on there so she could take on Nikki Cross or Sister Abigail. So the main event match ends up being the IC title match, Sami Zayn versus Ilja Dragunov, which starts off really like that segment. The image was great. Yes, it was. So this was a really great match. Unfortunately, we don't get a clear winner here because Braun Breaker gets involved and he spears Sami Zayn, attacks Ilja Dragunov. And I do think that we're probably going to get a triple threat match at SummerSlam. Ilja Dragunov versus Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn for that IC title. So we'll see. But what did you guys think of tonight's main event and overall tonight's show? Let me know in the comment section down below. So that would be it for the review. On a scale from a 1 to Sean Spears' perfect 10, I thought this was a pretty decent Raw. There was 6 out of 10. A solid show. I thought this was a pretty decent Raw. There were some things I liked. There were some things I disliked. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I thought it was a pretty decent show. Wasn't too bad. Was it the best? No. But it also wasn't too terrible. That is not true. I am not doing NXT. I don't work on Tuesdays. But with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continued support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And I will see you guys Wednesday after AEW Dynamite. Bye.